Part 4, The Drift and the Return. There's a rhythm to all things intimate. Some nights it's a heartbeat, fast, urgent, pulsing. Other times it's the tide, ebbing gently, pulling away, only to come crashing back when the moon says so. And for Nadia and me, that rhythm shifted, subtly at first, like a change in air pressure before a storm. After Adam G, something within us expanded, like our souls had been fed a rare fruit, and now all other flavors had to meet that richness. It wasn't about comparison. It was about recognition. We now knew what was possible. And sometimes that kind of knowing can shake your foundations. We began exploring separately for a while, not because anything was broken, but because something within us both had awakened. There were nights I would find myself wandering through parties in East London, music thudding like a second pulse, conversations thick with promise. The men were beautiful, yes, but fleeting. I would kiss them and feel like I was reaching through fog, hoping to grab something solid. Occasionally I did. Often I didn't. Nadia, on the other hand, leaned into her own sovereignty. She became bolder, curating her nights like art exhibits. She had a brief, intense connection with a man from Marseille, Jules. He was a photographer, moody, magnetic. She came back glowing and quiet, said little. I didn't press. I didn't need to. We weren't lovers by ownership. We were lovers by bond. We always came back together. Our reunions were the kind of thing you read about in worn paperbacks or hear in old soul records. Wordless, heated, grateful. Not for the sex, but for the knowing, the trust. The way we could return from separate galaxies and still speak the same language with our skin. One particular evening stands out. We hadn't seen each other in weeks. Life had pulled us both into work, travel, chaos. We met at a rooftop bar overlooking the Thames. She wore a black silk dress, and her hair danced in the wind like it had secrets. We talked for hours, caught up, laughed. There was no awkwardness, only magnetism. And when we got back to mine, it was like falling into something ancient again. She smelled of cedarwood and gin. Her body melted into mine like a story we'd told 1,000 times, each time slightly different. We didn't speak, didn't need to. It wasn't even about climax. It was about return. It was around this time that we began talking, really talking, about what we wanted, not just for the next night, but for our lives. Our connection had grown into something that was hard to name, not romantic, not platonic, not strictly sexual. It was spiritual, like we were each other's mirror and muse and map. We still played, don't get me wrong. London's pulse never dulled, and we welcomed others into our story now and then, always consensual, always clear. But something had matured. We no longer needed chaos to feel alive. We craved quality, presence, that Adam G level of depth of awareness. And sometimes when we drift too far out, get caught up in modern life's distractions, we'd send a message. One word, home, and that was enough. Enough to meet again, to remember, to return. To be continued in Part 5, The City and the Fire, where boundaries get tested, old ghosts show up, and something new begins to spark. Shall I begin?